from breakoffs, from breakoffs. No matter what rainbow uniform you wear, red, white, purple, and white, uh, 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 all white, it don't matter. You should all treat the ISUPK like your weird, misunderstood Sabbaths. You shouldn't do anything until you counsel with the ISUPK. We'll tell you when and what to eat. We'll tell you who to marry. We'll tell you who to have sex with and how. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your wives. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, your friends, everybody. We'll tell you when and how to pray. We'll tell you how to direct your life in a way that's pleasing to the Most High God of Israel and our Black King Yahushua, aka Jesus Christ. We will be to you instead of a God. Just like the Most High told Moses in Exodus 4:16 that Aaron would be to him instead of a mouth and he would be to Aaron instead of a God, that's what we'll do for you. It is what you all need because none of you know what the fuck you are doing. I pray you understand. Shalom.
Shalom. Yabashim Shabakatum to the brothers. Shalom. Shema Alatah. Bashim Yabashah to the sisters. I'm Priest and Officer Lamawad of the ISUPK. That's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And we are under Commanding General Yohana. Tonight is the Wednesday law class brought to you by Dallas. And we're going to keep it real basic for you, very practical, very easy to understand that we are to obey the Lord and the Lord only. That being said, you also obey the men that are set over you, as long as those men are doing things according to the Lord. All right. We're going to get straight into this. First, I want to start out with Baruch in the Apocrypha, chapter 4 and verse 6. And it says, ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved God to wrath, ye were delivered unto the enemies. So right here we can see that we were sold to the nations. Pretty much every nation under heaven has had the Israelites in some sort of captivity up until this captivity that we're in right now. Why? Because we provoked the Lord. And how did we do that? I think it's pretty obvious. Because we would not obey the Lord. We would not do what he said to do. So in that, we were given to the nations, right? But he said, not for your destruction. So he's not destroying us. It's punishment. Everything that we endure is punishment because we don't want to do the right thing, which is obey the Lord, right? You have children, you set rules, they don't obey them, there's punishment involved. If you don't punish them, then your words mean nothing to your children, right? It means nothing because there is no punishment to go along with it. There's no consequence, right? That's why in Christianity to this day, that's why they do whatever they want. Because there is no consequence in their mind, right? Their doctrine doesn't teach a consequence. They try to say that they live according to God or Christ or whatever you want to say, but If you're not obeying the law, statutes, and commandments, you don't know God. We've covered that many times in other classes, right? Let me keep reading. For verse 7, and I'm in the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 7 in the Apocrypha. For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to God. Meaning we had a requirement back then to sacrifice to the Lord, but we would rather go pick up Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, atheism. What is it? The what is that out there in LA? Started out there in LA, the Science Temple, whatever that is. We want to pick up everything but what the Lord says, and understand that there is a punishment for that. Now, here that we're under grace and the law of sacrifice is no longer in existence, right? You are that sacrifice. You're a living sacrifice. And what that means is that everything you do is on you. It's gonna come to your punishment because we don't have a sacrifice anymore. Christ was it. He was the unblemished lamb to wash us of our sins and give us grace so that we may live. All right. Uh Verse 8, ye have forgotten the everlasting God that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. All right, I'm going to stop there. All right. Well, verse 9, for when she saw the wrath of God coming upon you, she said, hearken, O ye that dwell about Zion, God hath brought upon me great mourning. Our people mourn every day because they done got gunned down in the streets, whether it's by our oppressor, those Edomites, or by one of our own. We mourn every day. Scriptures say when the wicked are in authority, the people will mourn. But when the righteous are in authority, the people will rejoice. And I paraphrase that because I could get that last part wrong. But what I do know is when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. And we are in mourning because every day, almost every single day, our people get destroyed. Whether it's killed, whether it's locked up, whether it's financially destroyed, whatever it may be to keep us down in the dust, where the dust is not where we're supposed to be at. All right. Let's go to Job 31 and 3. Book of Job, chapter 31 and verse 3. Is not destruction to the wicked and a strange punishment to the workers of iniquity? So when you out here doing the things that you ain't supposed to do that are against the Lord, you're the wicked. And you're gonna get strange punishment for working iniquity. Like punishment that people can't even explain. Like you didn't heard it before. I just saw him yesterday. Man, he looked. I mean, dang, that's crazy that happened to him because you punching your own time clock. When you out here doing what you want to do, when you out here, plotting and scheming on your own people, when you out here plotting and scheming on anyone, if it didn't come from the Lord, you're not supposed to do it. That is just the simplest way that it can be put. But when you say, "Nah, I ain't gonna be punished for that," I ain't gonna be, you are punching your time clock, because you're gonna run into that brick wall at some point. And that's thus saith the Lord. That's not thus saith me. Right? All right, let me read on. Verse 4. Doth not he say my ways? Salakia. Doth not he see my ways and count all my steps? Verse 5. If I have walked with vanity, or if my foot hath hasted to deceit. So he's saying, don't the Lord count, don't he see our ways? Don't he count our steps? Yeah, he do. Guess who else is doing that? Your oppressor's doing that. Your oppressor don't want you to be right. Don't want you to be with the Lord. He waiting for you to, when you hop in that car and you driving down that street, he waiting for you to slip up. But then also the Lord's eyes are on you when you doing things and you think it ain't being seen. Like I said, he counting everything that you do. So why not do it righteously rather than doing it wickedly? It doesn't make sense. I understand that some of the vain things, and that's what it said in verse 5. If I have walked with vanity, meaning you doing vain things that mean absolutely nothing. It doesn't produce anything. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't produce anything that's relevant to the Lord. And so when you out here doing life like that, understand that you're going to get back what you put into it. If there's nothing put into it, you're getting nothing back, right? It's like I said, these are not mathematical equations, and it is not hard to understand. You just have to buckle down and say, man, I'm not going to be like everybody else in the world. I'm going to be like Yahweh wants me to be, the Most High God. I'm going to show respect to Yahweh Shai, whom people ignorantly call Christ. And I'm not going to let his death be in vain, meaning he is going to produce men and women that obey the Lord. Verse 6, let me be weighed in an even balance, that God may know mine integrity. Verse 7, if my step hath turned out of the way, and mine heart walked after mine eyes, and if any blot hath cleaved to mine hands. And this is Job just weighing things out, because Job is going through some things. If anybody knows the story of Job went through a lot, right? And he's saying, he's sitting here trying to weigh it out. He's like, man, let me balance out my ways, man. Like, let me be judged righteously. Let me say, and if any blot hath cleaved to my hands, verse 8, then let me sow and let another eat. Yea, let my offspring be rooted out. It's like, even though he's going through all this and he's like, man, if I've done anything wrong, Even let my children be rooted out. Like, this is how much Job loved the Lord. He's sitting here trying to figure out like what is going on. Verse 9, if mine heart have been deceived by a woman, or if I have laid wait at my neighbor's door. Verse 10, then let my wife grind into another, and let others bow down upon her. Like, he know he ain't done none of this stuff, but he just saying like, man, if I done did it, I deserve it. Let it happen to me. I encourage a lot of you to watch or to read the book of Job. You can learn a lot from Job. You can learn a lot from any of these books in here, but Job was special. All right, let's see here. All right, let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 5. Romans chapter 1, verse 5. And it reads, by whom we have received grace and apostleship for obedience to the faith among all nations for his name. So we receive grace. This is how you receive grace. By obedience, right? To the faith among all nations. Our faith is that God will give us everything that he promised us. Our faith is that if we walk after his son and obey the law, statutes, and commandments, that every prophecy is going to come true. Everything that the Lord promised is going to be delivered, right? Even though we're among all these nations and we have all of these things going on around us that is temptation for us to partake in, but we don't partake in that. Why? Because we love the Most High God and we do what he says, and we don't partake in it. We don't partake in anything unlawful. All right. Let me see. All right, let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 5, verse 19. Because we can't, like the scriptures say, we can't be hearers of the word. We have to be doers of the word. And the word is the law. Like when you ask Christians, you ask them what the word is, they get to stuttering. They get to stuttering because they don't actually know God. They don't actually know Christ. And if you're a follower of the word and a doer of the law, they don't know you either. They can never understand you because you are something different. You're not going along with the program that is here in the world. You're going along with God's program. The program that a covenant was made. And you are not going to break that covenant. We are not going to break that covenant because we love the Lord too much. All right. Romans chapter 5, verse 19. For as by one man's disobedience, many were made sinners. Talking about Adam. Because Adam was told not to eat of the fruit, right? Not to listen to that philosophy and doctrine. But he allowed Eve to talk him into it. And because of that, Death reigns, right? Let me start over. For as by one man's disobedience, many were made sinners, so by the obedience of one shall many be made righteous. And that's talking about Christ, Yahweh. By his obedience, many be made righteous, right? Like the men and women in the UPK, because we understand why Christ died. We understand what his mission was. We know who he came for. We know who he died for. We understand that he was unwavering, that he loved us so much, he came in the flesh like you and I and suffered so that you and I may live. He he died so that you and I could live. And I don't know about you all, but I know that I truly can grasp that I mean, you think about that, nails drove into his hands, to his feet, pierced in the side, and left up on, just hanging on a cross, a wooden cross, until he died. And all he asked was that you obey the Lord. Like that's not even a. It's not even that's not a as you say, a grievous request. It's not hard to do. You mean to tell me he took his life? He had his life taken just so I would obey the law, statutes, and commandments of God that benefit us? Like it's not something, like it's not even a punishment. It's not a punishment. It benefits us. Everything the law, from the dietary law to a law of a brother, to what else we got? Marriage, um, just anything you can think of. It's a moral compass, and it's to our benefit. It behooves you to obey the law. Just to live, not even to get in the kingdom. Like if you just doing it just to get in the kingdom, like you're a one-track mind, one focus. You should be doing it out of love for the Lord because he's looking out for you. He's looking out for you to live in this world, to navigate in this world, to stay out of harm's way in this world, right? So that those that are going to and fro seeking whom they may devour will not devour you. And that's why we obey the law. So that we can be blameless, like Christ was blameless. Yahweh. Because he told us to be ye perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. So if Christ tells you you can be perfect, then you can be perfect. Because if you can't believe Christ or Yahweh, you're not going to believe none of us in the UPK. And Christ said, "Be ye perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect." So don't sit here and tell me that you love the Lord and you don't become perfect. You can't become perfect, because at the end of the day, let every man be a lie and let God be true, right? All right, let me Let me read that again. I'm in the book of Romans, chapter 5, verse 19. For as by one man's disobedience, many were made sinners, so-called Christians, so-called uh, Muslims. You know what I mean? Um, our people that went into Buddhism, Taoism, every other ism that doesn't have anything to do with God, many were made sinners. So by the obedience of one shall many be made righteous, because we hearken to the voice of the Lord. Verse 20, moreover, the law entered that the offense might abound, but where sin abounded, grace did much more abound. Yeah, I mean, y'all understand how much the Lord loves you? Now, if we really looking at this thing, do you know how much the Most High God loves his people? Of all the things, this whole book shows nothing but God's love for his people. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, who are the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And all he wants is his love reciprocated, right? And how do you reciprocate that? By following the instructions that he gives you. These laws, these statutes, and these commandments. It's that simple. No man or woman can come to a man in the UPK and say they love the Lord, and then you show that you ain't obeying the laws. We gonna look at you crazy. Look at you like you ain't took a bath in a year. You know what I mean? That give you that stank face, like you crazy. Like they say on the East Coast, you bugging. Because we know what the Lord requires. And he requires obedience. And he requires you to make a choice. Stand with him or stand against him. But you can't be in between. We can't play around with the Lord, because the Lord don't play. Christ don't play. Don't nobody play and get crucified on a cross. And you should take it serious. You should have it. You should take it very serious when it comes to your life. Sure, you can have a good time, time to time. But when it's time to do this work, when it's time to give the Lord what is his, give him what is his, which is obedience. Next time you sit down to a meal and you got some pork on your plate, or shrimp, crab, lobster, any other abomination the Lord said don't eat, you should look at it and get sick to your stomach. You should, because you should think about Christ hanging on a cross, dying to keep you out of sin. But here you are with a plate of abomination. Next time you look in the mirror and you getting ready to cut your hair and you want to cut it bald, you should think of Christ. You should. And all my Christians out there, you should take that cross off of your neck. Take it out of your house. Take it off your rearview mirror in your car. Wherever you got it, you should take it off. Because why? That was an instrument of death that was used to kill our king. And if your brother, sister, mother, father, grandfather, nephew, niece was killed with a gun, you wouldn't wear a gun around your neck. So why do it to Christ? Take it off. Throw it where it belongs, in the trash. I don't care if it's 18 karat gold. If you want to keep the gold, melt it down. Make you a dawada. Those of you don't know what that is, it's the 6-point star. Or it's not a star, it's David's name in the Hebrew. But y'all ignorantly believe it's a star. All right. Let's move on. Let me go to the 6th chapter. I'm in Romans chapter 6 and verse 16. Know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey. Now listen to this real good. Listen to this real good. Know ye not, comma, stop it. Know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, comma, let it sizzle, right? His servants ye are to whom ye obey, whether of sin unto death. So you got to equate sin to death because that's what it is. And what is sin? Transgression of the law. So meaning you're doing opposite of obeying the law. You're disobeying the law. So you're in sin, and sin is equated to death. That's what you get with it, right? Or of obedience unto righteousness. And it's phrased in a question. Know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are to whom ye obey, whether of sin unto death or of obedience unto righteousness? So it's like me asking you, don't you understand that if you keep running the streets, you gonna run into your death? Don't you know if you keep on prostituting out here that you run into your death? Don't you know if you keep on eating this abominable food, you're gonna be up in the hospital on your deathbed? Don't you know if you keep using them drugs, at some point you're gonna die from them drugs? Don't you understand if you a thief, if you whatever, those Edomites gonna catch up to you in the black and white with the bubble gum, had a knee on your neck till you can't breathe, to your death, because you yield yourself to be a servant of sin, which is to disobey the law of God. All right. I want that to sink in for all of us. Verse 17, but God be thanked that ye were servants of sin, but ye have obeyed from the heart that form of doctrine which was delivered to you. And that's the men and women in the UPK. We were servants of sin. We came out of that. We realized that God is true. Once we were given this truth, we without haste ran to life, because we don't want to be in death. When you understand what death really is, when you understand who's doing the killing and the giving of life, right? Who holds the keys to life and death? Once you realize, you'd be a fool to choose death. But we run across fools every day. But I and every brother in this school, every sister in this school would not have you run to death. We want to give you life, which is right here in these scriptures. It's the law, statutes, and commandments. It's very simple stuff and it's very easy to do. The hard part is getting over yourself. The hard part is getting over the fact of what you want to do versus what God requires you to do. That's why there is no when I keep saying predestined or destiny or something like that. We think we control things. The only thing we control is to follow the Lord or not. That's the only thing you control. But the Lord already knows what's going to happen. And that's why you should choose life. You're not driving the car, you're a passenger in the car. But you have this illusion that you're in control because you see what you see. But you have to understand about the things that you can't see. You have to have faith. And in that faith, you let the Lord's testimony be true, right? That if you do what he says, this is what's going to happen. If you don't do what he says, this is what's going to happen. It might happen. It could happen. There's a loophole to it. No, it's life or death. And the Lord don't even give you a choice. He tells you to choose life. But we're stiff-necked, stubborn people, right? Go to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 30. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 30. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 30. When thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, you suffering. We suffering. We don't know how we going to pay our bills. We don't know how we going to get to work. We don't even know how we going to get a job. Some of us scared to be out in our own neighborhoods after a certain time of night because you might just catch a stray one. Right? When thou art in tribulation and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to the Lord thy God and shalt be obedient unto his voice. That's where you should turn. All these things coming upon you are nothing for the Lord. He created all things. So how you think he can't handle it? How you think if you obey him, you won't be able to handle it? He created it. He created everything. The tribulations you going through, the problems you going through. But you won't listen. And I understand because I and men around me have been like that. But we understand and know how to fight. And that's what we want to give to you, Israel. We want you to understand how to fight. And the way you fight is obey the law, statutes, and commandments. That's the fight right there. Stop listening to your own mind of what you think is right and start listening to the Lord and what he knows is right. And when you do that, the Lord will give you everything that he wants you to have. Not what you think you should have, what he knows you should have. And that's what we got to understand, and that's what we got to do. Verse 31, for the Lord thy God is a merciful God. We know he's merciful because he's been with us all this time and we've done nothing but disobey him. Like at any time he can be, man, I tried with y'all, man. I mean, the Lord can really say that, like, man, I tried. I tried. I done parted, I done raised up a prophet, parted the sea for them. I done talked to them to the point I scared them. You know, I done I done had another prophet called what? Fire out of heaven. Walked in the lines that I done shown these folks so much of my power, and you still don't want to show me no love. That's what you saying, Israel. That's what we saying. Because in these latter days, that we gotta have faith. Like you have got to read these scriptures and know they are true. You got to have so much faith in it that it's it's not even a question. Nobody can shake you or waver you on this. You gotta stand bold as a lion. Stand with your 10 toes down on a rock. Stand on that business, right? And that business is obeying the Lord. Because everybody in this world that is not of Israel, and even some in Israel, are going to try to shake you. Because they don't want you to be with the Lord. They want you to be with them. And you can't allow it to happen. We won't allow it to happen. That's why we do this. Because we love our brothers and sisters. Like we love ourselves, which is the second greatest commandment. All right. Let me read this one over. Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 31. For the Lord thy God is a merciful God. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee. Because there's been many times we should have been destroyed. Nor forget the covenant of thy fathers, which he sware unto them. Look, the Lord, when he makes a promise, he sees through on it. He don't break promises. You know who breaks promises? We do. We do. We're the reason for all of our problems, right? Now, this oppressor that's over us, these Edomites, and then you've got these other nations. They've got their judgment is written because of the cruelty that they did. We put ourselves in a predicament, but the cruelty that they have shown in that. So there is written. Our concern is bringing our people back to the Lord, teaching them to obey the Lord, because that's how you come back to him. That's how you live. That's how you be above all nations. But we need Israel to come together and come back to the Lord, to be a nation again. And if we got to do it one by one, then so be it. We'll do this work till we can't do it no more, right? All right, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 20. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 20. As the nations which the Lord destroyeth before your face, so shall ye perish, because ye would not be obedient unto the voice of the Lord your God. You're going to die with these nations if you don't start listening to the Lord. And we don't want you to do that. We want you to choose life. We want you to be right here with us. But the Lord says you're going to die with the nations. You're gonna die with them because that's their punishment. And you want to do what they do. So that's your punishment too. And he's warning you. You just got to hear the word and you have got to hearken unto it, as they say. You've got to listen. You got to use these and listen, process it in your brain, and then do the appropriate action. Appropriate action is only one thing: obey the law, statutes, and commandments. It's only one thing. There's nothing more to it. Nothing more to it at all. But we got to stop playing around with this thing, because even though no man knows that day or hour, the time is short. Your life is short. I know when you in like high school or something like that, it seems like, man, you can't wait to get out of high school. The days drag on, the weeks drag on, the months, the years drag on. But when you when you get up out of there, when you reach about 18, them years start just going. You looking up, you 25. You blink your eye, you 30. You sleep too long, you 45. This life is quick. It ain't even a drop in the bucket to the Lord. It's nothing. So saying, well, I'm working on myself and all these things that I hear Christians say all the time. Oh, well, brother, I'm working on myself. Man, look, Lord ain't trying to hear all that, all you working on yourself. He ain't trying to hear that. The Lord is straight, black and white. You with him or you against him? They ain't trying to hear that. I'm just trying to get myself right. I'm trying to, work on some things. It's a process, man. Yeah, yeah. Ain't no process. Put it down and follow the Lord. Christ was going to his disciples. He told them to follow him. Put it down and follow. Because your way is death. His way is life. Why are you going to choose death? You know how you choosing death? Oh, brother, it's a process, man. I mean, I can't. It ain't gonna just happen overnight. It better happen overnight, because you don't know if you got overnight. Should happen right then. You don't know. You don't know how long you got. You don't. even if the Lord don't return tomorrow, you could get in your car, be in a car accident. It's a wrap. Now we understand that about regeneration, that you're gonna come back. Problem with that is you might not come back before your house shot comes back. So now when you hear the truth, the excuses gotta stop. Yeah. That's why in here is no cowards, no excuses. No cowards because we ain't scared to stand for the Lord. We ain't scared to tell you we stand for the Lord. No excuses because there is no excuse not to obey the Lord. It's no excuse. You try to tell me one excuse, man, get behind thee, Satan, on the cool, because I want to see the kingdom. I want to serve the Lord. I want to see Yahweh and thank him for what he did for our people. Because it ain't about you as an individual. It's about all of us. That's why it's a body. If you still thinking on an individual level, I'm here to tell you it's not about an individual. You shouldn't even think about self. All right, let's move on. All right. What was that? 8 and 20. Proverbs 25 and 12. Let's go to the book of Proverbs 25 and 12. You've got to have a nation, Israel. We have got to have a nation so that we can get up out of here. Hold on, I'm searching and talking. All right. But we have got to have a nation. We have got to have a nation of righteous men and women obeying the Lord so that his power would be ours. So that we can subdue the world. We can take our rightful place as the rulers of this world, and everybody's going to love it. Hear me and hear me good. Everyone is going to love it. Not because I say, but because the Lord says so. When the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. These nations are going to love their servitude. Not because I said it, because the Lord said it. They are absolutely going to love it. But now they can't see it. They can't see it because they're in charge. And you see how the world is. And our people especially are in mourning every day over a lost son, a lost daughter, lost mother, lost father, niece, nephew, whether they were killed by one of our own or slack it, whether they are unalived by one of our own or one of theirs. But if they were obeying the law, statutes, and commandments, they would have life. We are commanded to tell you these things, and to tell you these things without emotion. To tell you these things are going to happen, whether you like it or not. And you have two options. life or death. And the Lord only gives you one because he says choose life. All right, where am I at? Proverbs 25 and 12. All right. As an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold, so is a wise reprover upon an obedient ear. I mean, obedience is more precious than gold. Obedience is the end all be all. Now I know a lot of us hear obedience and it's like a cuss word. It's like a 4-letter cuss word, right? Because we don't want to obey. We hate authority. When authority is everything you need. Submission is everything you need. But it's who you submit to. Like I said earlier. Where were we at? We were in what book was that? But anyway, the scripture that we had earlier, where we were talking about who you submit yourself to. Right? So who you choose to obey. And you should obey the one that created you, the Most High God. This is cut and dry, easy. 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 2 = 4, so on and so forth. All right. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 1, verse 19. Isaiah 1 and 19. Obedience is always going to be the key, Israel. When you read the Old Testament, as long as we were obeying the Lord, no other nation could come against us. It wasn't until we started disobeying the Lord that we fall. And that is why we are in the condition that we are now, the hell that we are in now, because we don't want to obey. And because we don't want to obey, we suffer the consequences of such. It is upon us to come back to the Lord and rebuild this kingdom and bring it back to the glory that it once was. And we will get it there. We will get it there. Thus saith the Lord. Right? Isaiah chapter 1, verse 19. If ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. You got to be willing to do this work. You got to be willing to do the work of the Lord, to be doers of the word and not hearers only. And in so, you will eat good of the land. Meaning, all this that's supposed to be yours will be yours. The rulership will be yours. You won't be going to that 9 to 5, which really is more than 9 to 5. You're working 12, 14 hours. When they spring up the overtime on you, when you got an hour left on your shift, or we need you to stay for overtime. You was looking forward to going home. You've been talking about going home since you got there. Now you gotta stay for 2, 3 more hours. Sure, you like the little money, right? But after it got taxed, you didn't see much of it. I mean, now Trump done came, he done away with the tax. At least he did that much, but hey, whatever. What about your home time? What about spending time with your kids, right? What about getting your rest? They want to slave you out because they what do you call it? Because they compensate you. It's all right. It's all right. You want to go home? I mean, don't I know y'all heard this before. It- don't you got bills to pay? I mean, your wife would love that extra money. Trying to guilt you into staying. Man, look, if you got somebody want to work that overtime, let them work the overtime, man. I like my home time. I understand some people love money, and that's fine. I know I need it, but what good at the end of the day is it when you don't get to enjoy none of it? Or you go on vacation one time out of the year, it's 365 days. You got to go somewhere for 4, 5 days, right? Out of 365, the wicked is in authority. The people mourn. It was Isaiah 1 and 19, right? Isaiah 1 and 19. Okay. So let me read 19 again. We're gonna go into 20. If ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. Verse 20. But if ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of the Lord have spoken it. Some heavy words right there. Because aren't we devoured? Isn't the East Indian man in your neighborhood? Isn't the Arab man in your neighborhood? Isn't the Asian man in your neighborhood taking all your money? Isn't that Edomite, the white man in your neighborhoods now, buying up your old houses and remodeling or building a whole nother house, regentrifying your neighborhoods? Where you gonna go? You can't even afford it. You got a job at a warehouse so far away, you got to take 5 buses to get there. You share one car amongst 4 people. You you we you know our people smoking weed just to try to take away the reality of their pain. We are devoured. We're devoured by why? Because ye refuse and rebel. Ye refuse and rebel. You refuse to obey the Most High God. Because of it, you're in hell every day. You go outside, you are watching over your shoulder. Not just for one of our people, but the white man also. That cop car turn that corner, your heart skip a beat. And you know you ain't done nothing. Why we gotta live like that? Why? Ye refuse and rebel. You don't want to obey the Lord. So maybe you gonna obey somebody. Get on the ground. Put your hands behind your back. I didn't do nothing. Get on the ground. Put your hands behind your back. But officer, I didn't do anything. Get on the ground. Put your hands behind your back, or you're going to get tased. Oh, that wasn't my taser. Black man was shot today because ye refuse and rebel. I mean, I don't know how much more plain I can put it. Philippians 2:8. I believe that's where I want to go. Philippians 2:8. Book of Philippians, chapter 2, verse 8. And being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. Christ humbled himself, man. All the way up unto death. Christ could have been like, man, hey, man, not doing all. Do you see these people? I ain't doing all this for these people, man. I ain't going through all of this. He could have did. He could have did that. He could have been disobedient, but he wasn't. He came down to be just like you and I, because we sitting up here saying, man, you can't obey the law. 613. Somebody try to say 613 laws. You can't obey all them laws, man. You don't even know what all them laws is. You can't. Christ said, man, I'm on the scene. Now what? I'm on the scene. I'm showing you can. So much so I'm about to die for it. So much so that I'm not only am gonna die for it, I'm gonna die for it so you can live. So you can see me go through all of this and say, well, dang, man, he did do that. That's crazy, man. He died for that? Like, yeah, so you could rethink what you doing. So we could rethink what we were doing in our life and say, man, that, yeah, no, he can, if he can do it and he died so I could do it, the least I could do is do it. But you know what? You can do more. You can teach men to keep it. You can show men and women how to keep it. But the least you can do is just do it. The bare minimum you can do is keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Bare minimum, show respect for Christ. Yahweh in the Hebrew. All right. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 14. In the book of 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 14. As obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lusts in your ignorance. God, we have to be obedient children. You have got to let your lusts go. We have got to let our lust go. You want to go to the strip club. No, can't go to strip club. You can't be a whoremonger, right? Nah, you can't go, man. But I want to work at the strip club. You can't work at the strip club. You're a whore. Let's just be real about this. You gotta let your lust go. Man, I'm finna go get this ounce. How about you don't get the ounce? I'm about to go cook this up. How about you don't go cook it up? Is it hard? Is it too hard? Man, look at Brother Johnson's wife. How about you leave her alone? How about you don't look at her? Don't commit adultery. Don't cause her to be an adulteress, right? Simple. How about you don't? Everything that you want to do that ain't got nothing to do with God, how about you just don't? Don't. Just don't. But I know that's the fight. That's the fight. You got to fight it. Some of you say it's hard. You know why it's hard? Because you love to do it. Whatever it is that you're doing, that whatever it is that you're doing, and I'm not picking on one person. I'm saying you in general, as to include all of us. Whatever we do that we think we can't let go, it's because you don't want to let it go. It's not because it has control over you or anything like that. You like what you're doing. And that is the fight and that is the struggle, because you have got to tell yourself, this is not right. This is not right. And I love the Lord more than I love this. Then I love this lust. Because it's lust of the flesh. And guess what? This flesh fades away. And it fades away quickly. But the Lord is forever. The law is forever. And those that follow the Lord and do his law, statutes, and commandments are forever. All right. So what's the conclusion of this whole matter, right? Let's go to Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. If I can find it myself. I know I done passed it. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. What is it that we are supposed to do? Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. And it reads, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. So this is the conclusion of everything. This is it. This is what we should do. All right. You don't hear nothing else from my class. Hear this. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments. Fear God and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. It's your duty to obey his law, statutes, and commandments. And with that, I want to say Shalom Shabakathum to the brothers. Shalom Alatah Ba'ashem Yahushua to the sisters. I'm Preaching Officer Lamawad of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We're under Commanding General Yohana. Shalom, Israel.